Well, good afternoon. Welcome to today's episode of Random Thoughts. I'm glad that you are with me this morning. Today, I want to I thought I was going to not talk about the convention of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, but I am going to talk about one point of it now that it is complete. And that is the context of pastoral formation. What is it that we have in our congregation, in our church body? What are the requirements? What are the rules, roles, and expectations? I use that a lot. And what are the opportunities for a young man to get into the pastoral ministry? We'll go into a few of those things. I don't think I'm going to cover the whole gamut of it, but we're going to talk about it today, and we might come back to it a little bit more next Thursday. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Random Thoughts. Pastoral formation. It is the process that we do as a church body, and we have two seminaries that do the pastoral forming for the congregations. The one that I went to is Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. The second one is Concordia Theological Seminary in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And both seminaries are the primary, if not, I take that back, not just primary, the only two places where a man can go to learn to be a pastor. So that by the time that he is done with his education, he is certifiable to be a pastor in the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Now, we only train for ourselves. We don't train for other denominations. We just train for ourselves, our own congregations. And yes, we still train men for the ministry. The office of pastoral ministry is the official title of my position, and that is still, in our view, biblically, a male position. It's a small part of all the greater ministry that can be done by both men and women, but this small part is about the male, because Paul describes it in 1 Timothy chapter 3, a pastor in training should be a man of one wife, husband of one wife, man of one woman. So, the seminaries are the places by which men are trained. Now, we have the fundamental classical path. You go to a Concordia University, you major in pre-seminary work, you get some fundamental doctrinal work, you get your historical, you get your biblical, you get your theological, and you get the training in the biblical languages of Hebrew and Greek. Now, that's the classic old school way to get into the seminary. Seminary also allows for men to go to undergraduate work, get their undergraduate degree, but in any degree path. The difference is when a person coming in without a pre-sem degree path and coming in with a pre-sem path is, you must take the biblical languages at the seminaries. The seminaries offer that. So in my case, for example, I came in without the biblical languages, the classic track, and I had to take the languages. I took my summer Greek, and then I took Hebrew my very first year. The classical path once you get to seminary is 2 years in the classroom, 1 year in what we call vicarage. It's also known as an internship. And then the final year, the fourth year, is back on campus. And then from there, you are called and graduate, and then you go off after your fourth year, you're into your very first parish. That's the classical tracks. Now, there are other tracks that a man can go into to become a pastor. I'm not going to go into all of them. I'll leave that to you if you're interested, and I'll give you the website addresses for both St. Louis and Fort Wayne below. I'll give that to you. The convention, now the whole point of this video today is that the convention ratified, reinforced that for us as Lutheran Church Missouri Synod Christians, reinforced the support for both Fort Wayne and St. Louis in their pastoral formation duties. And there were 3 resolutions on the board. There we go, 3. And all 3 of them passed with overwhelming majority. The interesting thing, though, is what is the path that a man can take to become a pastor? And the argumentations have been revolving around, well, a technological usage like this. What is the validity of online training? What is the validity and the community when someone is watching a professor on that side of the screen and I'm on this side of the screen taking notes? There's some validity to that. It helps in a lot of different ways. One way is to get information into the hands of the pastor and pastor in training, because there are some challenges that he cannot go to on site initially. There are multiple tracks available for men to be able to kind of follow that track, that path. But the interesting thing is they all have to go. Every man has to spend time on one or both of the campuses in their training. We have to spend time. Now, I'll just give you one, and I'm going to keep it short, I promise. Anecdote from my career path. I was looking to go to the seminary, and I was looking originally at Fort Wayne because of the proximity of where I lived. It was only a 2.5, maybe 3-hour drive. So I thought, I would leave my home on Sunday evening, drive up to campus, and I would spend the entire week on campus, and then on Friday evening I would spend driving back Friday evening to be with my family on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday morning, and then drive back. I would do that for 2 years. Both recruiters from Fort Wayne and St. Louis said, that is a bad idea. Because number one, you're splitting up your time from your family. You're not home with your family, especially for 5 days out of a 7-day week. And the other thing too is you're not building, and here's the kicker, you're not building the community. The community that both your wife and your child and you can have full time living in either St. Louis or Fort Wayne. And that was a big eye opener for me. They both recommended not to do that. I thought that was the way to go. I could do 2 things at once, but it didn't work, and I'm glad it didn't. We ended up moving to the St. Louis area and spent 3 years on campus, and we learned and we got to know a lot of really good people, great classmates, and got to know families. And my wife became involved in the women's groups that were on campus. So there's a layer of community, and that's the problem that we have with online training, and that was one of the challenges. How does online training fit into the preparation of men to be pastors? It's still a work in progress. It's still a lot of things. The seminaries are looking into these challenges because right now, to be honest, we are very short. We're not graduating enough guys just to fill retirements, let alone brand new ministries. So we're having a difficult time getting men into the ministry. That's a whole other topic I don't want to take up time with today. But bottom line is, we need to form pastors. Pastors need to be leading congregations. Congregations are serving God in order to bring other people into a relationship with God and salvation. Can churches do it without a pastor? Not really, no. They flounder. They have no real leadership, no shepherd to guide them in the direction God wants them to go. And that's what the whole role of pastor is. Last point I want to make. The word pastor. You know the root from where it comes? Shepherd. How about that one? I pastor a flock. Let you think on that one as I wrap up for this week. Anyway, pastoral formation. That's the key element in the challenges that we're facing in a very increasingly online environment. And how does that work in the context of community and in the context of communities, congregations, in an online environment, like kind of what we're doing? But my encouragement for you is if you are watching these videos and being a part of online live streaming, we'd love to have you in-house to be a part of the community, to get to know people. Because being a part of a community is the greatest thing. And I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll look forward to seeing you Sunday morning and look forward to seeing you in community with us every week. And you'll hear more from me on the Word and everything else that goes from there. All right. I think that's all I'm going to bring out today. I'll talk to you very soon.